What's up guys, Sean here. Today I am doing the Chaves tech review. This is a knife that my buddy Micah sent for me to check out and review, and I've been messing with this thing for a couple weeks now, and I have come to my conclusions on it. So we are going to do this in the same format as my last review I did. We're going to start off with a couple quick specs. We have a blade length of 2.75 inches, cutting edge of 2.6 inches, handle length of 3.5 inches, overall length just over 6 inches, blade thickness of 150 thousandths, handle thickness of a ½ inch, and behind the edge thickness at 25 thousandths. So this is not a slicing knife, even though we have a beautiful compound grind with a nice hollow here. This is pretty thick behind the edge, and it weighs in at 2.65 ounces. So as far as the ergos go, I gave this a 3 out of 5 because I only get a 3-finger grip on this, and there is not really any choke up point. We have this massive choil right here, but it really isn't good for anything besides keeping the edge away from the plunge grind. So it's going to be good for sharpening, but that's about it. And when you're cutting with this thing, it feels like you really can't get any leverage. So ergos are for the clip, I gave it a 5 out of 5 because we have a milled titanium clip. It's nice and strong and solid. There's no flex, and it also looks really cool. For carry, I gave it a 4 out of 5 because it's small and light, but it's also a little bit boxy. So it's small, but it's not the greatest carry. So that's why I docked it a point. As far as hotspots go, I gave it a 2 out of 5 because we have a lot of squared off corners, a couple of sharp edges, and we have some the jimping is really sharp. It's nice and well spaced out, but the edges of it are super sharp. So it's going to be good for grip, but sliding your finger across there does not feel good at all. And also, yeah, it just the clip is, almost probably half the width of the whole knife. So that sticks out a good bit if we're talking proportions, and it does not feel that great. Now if you were just cutting open like a plastic wrapper or something, it'd be fine because you're not really squeezing this tight. So for little random stuff it's fine, but if you really want to get a solid grip on this, it's not very good. For cutting performance, it gets a 2 out of 5. That is probably the weakest category for this knife, and that was really disappointing because it looks like it should be a good cutter. We have a beautiful blade grind and a beautiful hollow, and it just doesn't do it. It's too thick behind the edge, and it has a thick blade stock. So with a blade this small and a blade being this thick and that thick behind the edge, it just doesn't really work out too well. The action, it gets a 4 out of 5. It's very good. It's smooth. It's not drop shut. It's gently shake shut. It's really smooth. I say the action is above average. The detent gets a 5 out of 5. It's very nice, crisp, snappy, strong detent, perfect for a flipper this style. For the hardware, we're going to give it a 3 out of 5 because this is all T6 screws, and there are a lot of screws. There are 13 screws on this knife. A lot of them are hidden, but that's a lot of screws, and with them being all T6, it's just I don't like that. And they're steel screws. They seem like the quality is fine, but that's just I think that's a miss. It's too many screws, and T6 is not the best choice. especially for all of the screws. The aesthetic gets a 5 out of 5. I think this looks really cool. It's really attractive and appealing. When I first saw this, before Micah sent it to me, I had actually considered buying one of these a couple times. I think it looks really neat and different. And the blade grind is beautiful. And it's a cool design. It's unique. It's distinctive. So the aesthetic is good. For price, it gets a 3 out of 5. This comes in at $220. It's okay, but for being made in China, you know, I think they could have done better for the value. It also gets a 3 out of 5. I consider it average because we have good materials. It's high quality. You know, we have a quality build, but it's not very practical. Like this, it just doesn't function very good. It's better as a fidget toy and just, you know, looking at the beauty of it than as an actual knife itself. The fit and finish gets a 4 out of 5. We have a very good above average fit and finish, but of course there is always a little bit of room for improvement, especially, you know, in this price range. For the acoustics, gets a 3.5 out of 5. It sounds cool and it's above average. A little snappy sound to it. The lockup gets a 5 out of 5. We have a rock solid lockup and it looks like we're at about 50%. No lock stick whatsoever, and 0 play. This thing is locked up like a bank vault. Lock bar access gets a 4 out of 5. That access is very good, but you could use just a hair more space. I can get to it fine, but somebody with bigger or fatter fingers might not be able to manipulate it as easy. For fidget factor, it gets a 4 out of 5. Now I wanted to give this a 5 out of 5, but here's the problem. It's an excellent action, okay? It's very addictive, but it gets uncomfortable in your hand really quickly. This clip digs into the palm of your hand, and this jimping right here is super sharp, and we just have some sharp corners, especially down here. The inside edges of the liners are kind of sharp, so you know, you don't really want this in your hand very long. At first it feels good and you just, you know, you want to play with it. You're thinking, oh, I could do this all day, but you'll quickly find that it gets uncomfortable. Overall design gets a 3 out of 5. It's a cool little knife, but the blade geometry just doesn't make sense. So when we're talking overall design, I can't give it a higher score. For the blade steel, we have M390. Great edge retention and corrosion resistance. Decent toughness. 5 out of 5 on that. Materials, we have a 5 out of 5 because we have nice micarta scales. We have titanium. And we have M390 blade steel. And this is on ceramic bearings. For innovation, it gets a 2 out of 5 because there's not really any innovation, but Chaves has a unique and distinct design, an original look to them, and the skull clip has become iconic among the knife community. Centering gets 4 out of 5. And this is because it was slightly off to the left when I got it. I was able to fix it easily. Let's see how she's looking now. It's looking pretty dead on right now. So it was an easy fix, but it wasn't perfect. Tolerances gets a 4 out of 5 because they are good, but there is some room for improvement. Blade grind, 5 out of 5 because this blade grind is absolutely phenomenal. It's beautiful. We have even symmetrical grinds. It's a compound grind. We have a beautiful hollow. Just very, very nice work on this. And the belt set and finish is also very beautiful. And the last category, factory edge. gets a 5 out of 5. For a factory edge, it's excellent, very sharp, even bevel, and yeah, it looks good. I think they chose a good angle for this style blade. So yeah, this is the Chaves Tech, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed this review. I tried to keep it a little bit shorter than normal and kind of roll through it. So let me know how you guys like this, what you think about it, your thoughts, opinions, all that good stuff. I love you guys. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.